Hey guys, this is part 5 in my series on my cube collection, and we're talking about 6x6's. So let's get started. This was my first 6x6. It is a V-Cube 6, as you can see. All in all, V-Cube quality, the V-Cube quality is still present. The turning is still great. The construction of the puzzle is still great. The design of the puzzle is still great. But the design is flawed. It's great, but it's flawed. Because that internal mechanism, the way it came, it had a clicking mechanism to click it into place so that the hidden middle layer was always aligned. And that was really annoying to solve. So most people, like myself included, wanted something else. So I took it apart, shaved off all of the bumps that allowed that clicking mechanism to happen, and started on the Pi mod, the mod invented by me, myself, and Pi. Unfortunately, I have been unable to get the pins to stick in the screws, but since I already shaved down all the bumps for the clicking mechanism, now there's no mechanism keeping the internal layer in alignment. And on any solve on this, it usually locks up 4 or 5 times. It's being nice right now because it knows it's on camera, but it's almost unsolvable. It's really annoying. So I plan to, at some point, try and clean that out, clean out the super glue so that I can start the Pi mod over with the pins and try and maybe use a better glue and hope to God that that works. Because right now, it's just a very pretty, colorful paperweight. I also need to shave down the bumps, causing the outer layers to still have that clicky feel. But I'm hoping that one day I might get it to be of the same broken-in quality of my V-Cube 5. And I've heard that a fully modded, fully broken-in V-Cube 6 is the best 6x6 you can get. So we'll see about that. Which brings me next to my Shengshao 6x6's. Now I have 2 of these, and I'll explain why in a second. So first off, the first thing we notice is the stickers are awful. They're cracking and peeling and coming up, and I have not had these for that long, and I haven't done that many solves on them. But they're just awful. This one's not as bad, but it's getting there. But other than that, the quality is great. The turning is fantastic. It's smooth. It's easy. It's light. It doesn't overturn. It doesn't require much force to do. 2-layer turns are the same way. 3-layer turns. The internal mechanism never, ever, ever locks up on me. I've never had it lock up once. It can cut corners sort of well for a big cube. It's not fantastic, but it's not awful. All in all, Shengshao puzzles are generally really high-quality puzzles, and these 6x6's are no exception. Now these are both Shengshao 6's. They're the exact same thing. But when I got them, that wasn't quite the story. This was the first one I got, and it came out of the box. If you've watched my, I think that unboxing video is up. I'm not positive, though. But it comes out of the box, and it's impossible to turn. Like, you have to put your whole hand into it, and it still barely turns. The 2 layers were even worse. The 3 layers were even worse than that. It was just awful. You couldn't turn it with one finger. It was utterly awful. And I've seen other unboxing videos, and theirs come out of the box just like this. Fantastic. So I knew something was wrong. I tried to take it apart. I tried to loosen it. I managed to loosen up the screws and the springs and stuff. I loosened up the tensions on it, but then I just had a very loose puzzle that was still took tons of force to turn, and it would just pop every time you tried to turn it. I'm not really sure why I just did that. But I'm just going to set this aside and assemble after the video. Anyways, but it still took ungodly amounts of force to turn, but it was so loose that the force would just pop. You know, if I tried to turn it like this, it would just pop those pieces out instead of actually turning the puzzle, because the force was much less than the force to pop pieces out. So I emailed Eric at Cube Depot, where I had bought it. I posted videos of how it turned right out of the box, how it turned after tensioning it, and he was super great. As soon as he saw those videos, he was like, "All right, we're sending you a new one. It's in the mail right now. Don't worry about it." So they sent me a new one, and the new one was great. It came out of the box just like a Shengshao 6 is supposed to. And I was super excited because I finally had a working 6, because this one I started modding pretty soon after I got it, and now it's not really solvable. So I was really excited to have a working 6x6. As you can see, both of these Shengshaos are working, so what happened? Well, I did figure out how to fix it. but I ended up having to take the pieces apart. I had to shave down parts of the core. I had to readjust all the tensions multiple times. I had to cut some of the springs because the springs there was a flaw in the manufacturing of the springs that were in the puzzle. I had to lubricate it. I had to modify some pieces. There were a whole bunch of things that were happening in that puzzle that were making it not turn very well. So about 3 hours of labor later, of putting all that, doing all of those fixes and repairs and mods, and then lubricating it and putting it back together, it does work. So now I do have 3 6x6's, one that works, one that needs some work before it'll function properly, but 2 that'll work. But it required a whole bunch of force and effort to get that of them working. So if you do get a 6x6, just be careful. That might happen to you. I'm not really sure what happened. It might have just been, one bad one off the line, but it's fine now, and this one's fine now. At some point soon, I do want to try and adjust the tensions and see if I can get it a little bit more to my liking and lubricate it, but and re-sticker it, of course. But the 6x6's are really nice puzzles. And I say that, and then they pop on me, of course, because they're on video. I swear, this puzzle never really pops on me, except now that it's now that I'm recording unboxing videos. That's all it wants to do is pop. I think I got all the pieces. I'll have to check that in a second. But please don't let that color your opinion. Like I said, it never pops on me, really, unless it's super, super misaligned. But the 6x6's are really good puzzles. They might require a little bit of tensioning and lubricating for them to be at your liking, but they're fantastic. The V-Cube 6 is not that awesome out of the box. Even the outer layer turns, which haven't really been affected or modified at all, have a really clicky feel to them, and it requires a lot of force to turn them. You can't finger trick them nearly as well as you can with the Shengshou one. So I would recommend getting this one first, especially because this one's a lot cheaper. But this one, supposedly, once you finish modifying it, is a much better 6x6. So I wouldn't write this one off yet, but it requires a lot of work to get it to be good, whereas this one comes out of the box good, and it's cheaper. So they're both good puzzles. I'd recommend this one better, though. Maybe once I finish getting this one modified, it'll be so much, light years ahead of this one. We'll have to see. But alright, those are my 6x6's. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry that my cubes were so poppy today. But yeah, catch you next time for my 7x7 video.